figured out. Says we're live. So one thing I'm going to have to figure out is how to get you live on YouTube eventually. But for this one, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, we'll get there.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop and make sure our recording is working, and then we'll get going. Yeah, I'll figure it out. It says we're live. So one thing I'm going to have to figure out is how to get you live on YouTube eventually. But for this one, I think we'll be okay.
Yeah, we'll get there.
So what I'm going to do is I'm going to stop and make sure our recording is working. And then okay, I think we got it. It seems to work pretty well.
All right. How you want to start out? You just going to do an introduction type thing, or?
Yeah, I'm going to do an introduction as soon as I hit record. Okay. So now we're recording the actual episode. All right, guys, listeners near and far, this is the MotoRoss podcast, the MotoRoss Experience podcast, Season 2, Episode 3. And we've got with us here, at least on my screen, unfortunately not yet on yours, but we'll get there eventually. And Ryan Yoest is with me, a long time. How long have we known each other? Like 20 years?
Been a long time.
It's been a long time. Lots of adventures. So
That's
Ryan,
right.
So Mason went to the World Stacyc Championships, right, in Tulsa?
Yeah, Tulsa during Thanksgiving.
Gotcha. So, hang on. I don't know why. Cannot rename follower. Okay. Anyway, we're good. So, Tulsa during Thanksgiving, just give our listeners a background on how you guys started out, came up with the idea, got started with the Stacycs, just like from the buying the Stacyc at the dealership and go from there.
Long story short, I mean, Stacyc's a new company. They're actually owned by Harley Davidson, which is pretty interesting. It's kind of the next step after the Strider. You know, a lot of kids were starting out on these Striders, going to the Stacycs, and then from there, they're figuring out, do they want to do BMX or do they want to do MX? We got Mason the Stacyc about 2 years ago. Started out with a 12-inch. And then this year, Stacyc came out with this program. They teamed up with USA BMX, and we qualified at Westmoreland BMX track and went down to Tulsa. I mean, it was a great experience. The bikes are awesome. It's getting definitely a lot of kids involved back in the sport, whether it is BMX or MX. I mean, both of them, they're doing an amazing job. The way they treated us down there was great. The support, the backing, I mean, they really bent over backwards for the kids down there.
Yeah, I mean, I was trying to watch the live stream. I thought it was a little bit hard to manage from home because you just never really knew when exactly the stream was. I think there was a delay between what you were seeing and what we were seeing.
Yeah, they had some issues this year, and it wasn't all on their end. They had the largest turnout ever that they had for. So this is kind of this event down there in Tulsa is the Loretta Lynn's of BMX. They went through, I think it was close to 1,000 motos on that day alone, which is insane to see.
That is wild.
Yes, and it was one of those things where they were trying to squeeze way too much into one day, but they didn't anticipate it being this big. And it ran late. I'll be honest, like us on the East Coast, it sucked for us. The West Coast kids weren't too bad, but you figure the time difference, you know, we're out there riding at 11 o'clock at night, which is midnight back home. So the kids were struggling.
Yep.
And they, you know, the guys at Stacyc, like they acknowledged it, and they definitely, they're going to make some changes for next year, you know, because it, like I said, for the West Coast kids, it didn't affect them at all. But for us, you know, the moms are just sitting there feeding the kids candy and chocolate just to keep them away. But I mean, it was a great event. It really was.
Yeah, I mean, it goes without saying, even when we did Supercross Futures the first time when you didn't come to that one in Houston, but it was like midnight and we were doing our final motos of the day and everybody was just like eating crap, dragging. Like it wasn't the typical like moto type of day. And it was just them ironing out the kinks. And even still, when we did it in Dallas, fairly similar, right?
Right. Yeah, they got some work ahead of them, but it's definitely going to be a great event. And like I said, if we can get the times figured out, because I'll be honest, like you want to be so excited at the same time, you're so tired because you've been there all day and you're just waiting and waiting. You know, it was supposed to start at 5 o'clock. We didn't start till 8:30, and it's just like, you know, you want to be there, but at the same time, it's like I'm so tired.
Yeah.
Like,
not to mention like the travel on the front end. That's what 17 hours from home?
Nah, it's like 14.
14?
So it's not too bad. A super easy drive straight down 70 to St. Louis and then hit 44 down. It sucked with it being Thanksgiving weekend because, of course, we had a ton of traffic going down. The kids did well, though. I tried to drive through the night as much as possible. But it was a good trip all in all.
Yeah, it's ironic that I was home and you were driving south, and I was watching on Find My Friends, just like, yep, that's how it works out.
It was crazy. I'm sitting there thinking, like, dude, Ross lives right there, but yet he's back home.
So for next year, is the date the same or is it similar?
Yeah, so it's actually the same. So they run this BMX championship every time over Thanksgiving, just kind of like Mini-O's is down in Florida. It's going to be, you know, during the same week. Next year, we're definitely going to take the camper down, be a little bit more prepared than we were last year. So hopefully we got some big things going ahead of us coming up.
Yeah, let's talk about that a little bit because people are probably going to, if I can get this searchable, which most things as far as podcasts go are searchable. So if somebody is looking at prospectively qualifying, having their kid qualify and then take the camper down, do you already know like where you're going to park or where you could park?
Yeah, so which we didn't know ahead of time, it would have been nice to know. You can actually camp right there at the complex. This place, Tulsa, has an amazing sports complex. There's camping right there. The facilities are there. It's really, really nice. So we're definitely going to do that next year because the city of Tulsa, it's crazy to see a town shut down for Thanksgiving. Like we got a hotel downtown thing, and I will just walk to restaurants, we'll walk to shops, everything closes up. And it's insane. I've never seen anything like it.
Yeah, and I would say part of that's probably to blame on COVID, as much as we don't want to say that awful word anymore.
Right. Oh, yeah.
Because even back home, like Thanksgiving week, stuff shut down just simply because they didn't have staff. So hopefully maybe next year will be better in that respect for you guys.
That's what I'm hoping. And then taking the camper, at least we'll have our own food. You know, the kids will have all their stuff. Like we kind of were going down there blind. And then we got down there and we went grocery shopping to get just microwavable stuff that we can cook in the hotel room and stuff. It was a struggle. It was fun, but we definitely learned a lot.
Right. Well, that's cool. Yeah, I mean, it just kind of popped up all of a sudden. I remember you're like, hey, we're going racing at Westmoreland on the Stacyc. Like, oh, we qualified for World Championships. And
it came out of nowhere. They just posted it online, and we're like, heck, you know, Westmoreland's an hour and a half away. They only had 5 qualifiers. We're like, let's go for it. And, I mean, it turned out awesome. It really did.
The folks you met you said they're from Conroe down here, right?
Yes. Was it? I think Woodlands.
Yeah, same difference. It's close. Spring, Conroe, Woodlands are all within like minutes of each other, depending on where you're at in each one of them, respectively. But where did they qualify at down here?
I'm not sure because I can't remember where they had the Southern qualifier at because they had one obviously in California. Pennsylvania, Florida. There was one in Texas, but I'm not sure where it was at.
Wonder if my guess would be likely Three Palms, but as much as I've ridden over there, I don't recall ever seeing a Stacyc track, but it's been a while.
Right.
So yeah, it'd be cool to maybe get their take on it and compare the two experiences. So if you talk to them, let's see what they think of that.
Yeah, definitely. I mean, we met him on Facebook and everything. We talked to him. Actually, we met him whenever we were practicing out there. Tulsa City Park has a couple pump tracks out there, which are real nice, and that's where we ended up meeting him out there. Mm-hmm. But yeah, I mean, we met him up on Facebook and everything. We'll definitely get in touch.
Yep.
It'd be a good one.
Right. What was I? Oh, talk a little bit about the sizes. You said the 12-inch was what he raced this year?
Yeah, so what's nice is they break them down compared to like back home where they just kind of group you into, a 0 to 4, a 5 to 7 age range and kind of whatever bike you fit on. For this here, it's, 4-year-old 12-inch. And that's obviously the class that we were in. They had a 3-year-old 12-inch group, and they went up from there. But you start out on the 12 for Christmas. When Mason got a 16-inch, so now we're up to it because he'll be in the 5-year-old group this year. And then coming on down the road, they're talking about doing a 20 and a 24-inch.
Really?
So, yeah, so they're in the works right now with those. I'm kind of interested. It's supposed to be a couple years till they come out with that. I'm kind of interested to see how they're going to look.
20 and 24-inch? Isn't that like our standard front wheels on a full-size MX are 21-inch, aren't they?
Right.
Yeah, 21 and 18 or 21 and 19. That would be cool. That'd be interesting to see.
Yeah, I don't know if they're going to try and compete with the e-bikes. I'm kind of not sure what their direction is. If they're trying to keep them geared towards the kids. Because even though like this is a 16-inch bike, they sit so low. Those springs drop down so low. So even though like Mason, I mean, he's 35 pounds at 4 years old. I mean, he's a short little kid. He rides a 16-inch run perfect.
Right.
Where a normal 16-inch bike, he wouldn't be able to ride. Yep.
I guess, yeah, because he doesn't have the whole pedaling thing. Does he ride a pedal bike?
Yeah, he has a pedal bike. He has a Trex, real nice Trex pedal bike that he has. And it's actually one of the lowest one in the industry. That's the whole reason why he got that, because it has the lowest seat height that we could find.
Right. Which did he ride first? Did he start pedaling first, or did he start the Stacyc after the Strider?
Stacyc. Went straight to the Stacyc. We got him a pedal bike, and it didn't work out. The seat height was too tall, and like I said, he got them little short dinosaur legs. So, I mean, he struggled. I mean, he struggled with the one pedal bike we got him. So he just wanted to ride a Stacyc, and it went from there, honestly.
Yep. Man, remember when we were starting out, like there was nothing. You had like a 50. Oh,
these kids nowadays, it's insane what they have. I'm jealous of everything.
I remember my boots I didn't even have boots until I was like 16, maybe.
Yeah, but it's great. It's definitely great for the sport. We went up to switch back to practice last weekend, and honestly, there was probably 20, 25 Stacycs up there, and it's just like it's great to see. They're not a very expensive bike. I'm not going to say it's very inexpensive, but it's definitely a great entry level into the sport.
Right. Yeah, I mean, like I just went and picked up that Z50 for Dare, and I'm looking at it, the pictures, since it's still closer to you than it is to me right now. And I was like, it's going to be a while. Like, I'm probably going to end up with a Stacyc or 3 at some point. I'm going to need a much larger garage here because stuff is stacked on top of stuff right now.
He's riding his PW, but like I said, he's got them short legs, and so he struggles to stand up or to put his foot down on it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, the PW is that the same one you bought a couple years ago that wouldn't start for a while?
Yeah, it's brand new. I mean, he's only got 4 hours on it, if that. He he rides the Stacyc, he feels more comfortable on it. But like I said, I think it's a size issue, and I really think it's a confidence issue.
Yep.
But I'm hoping come this year, once the weather breaks, we'll be able to get him back out on that Stacyc, because this will be the first year that he can qualify for Loretta's.
Yeah. Dude, that'll be awesome. Loretta's. It's so funny that when we think about Loretta's 2 years ago, we were like, wouldn't it be nice if we both had kids at Loretta's at some point? And then like here mine, I think was screaming downstairs a little bit ago. So I doubt we'll be in the same class, maybe on Super Minis or something like that.
Well, once we get to Super Minis, we could be in the same class.
Mine will probably be faster because they'll still be lighter. I don't know. If he keeps growing like this, though, I'll have to have him on a Super Mini when he's like 7. It's insane. He's in like the 96th percentile for growth. I'm like, no wonder my arms hurt and my shoulders are shot. Like, and I'm not sleeping, but none of us are sleeping.
I know that feeling. I'm so glad we're out of that stage.
Yeah. So, Switchback, what do they do? Do they, when you go up there on a ride day and you take him with you, do they just basically do organized practice?
Yeah, so they're doing it a little different this year. I'm not super excited about it. In the mornings, they have big bikes, and then in the afternoon, they have minis. So, like, it sucks for, families like us. We got to be there all day long, which I'm not. I hate being at the track all day long.
You always wanted to go early and come home early.
Oh, that's right. Like, I want to go ride, have fun, but then come home and be able to sit down and actually relax on a Sunday.
Yeah.
But they're mini sessions. They definitely, like the PWs and the Stacyc, still keep them separate from everybody else. And even like last weekend, since there was a lot of Stacycs and a lot of those kids also rode PWs, they broke it up into just Stacycs and then just PWs.
Right.
So it worked out really nice.
Yeah, I think that the days of open practice where just everybody jumps on the track are a thing of the past at most places.
Especially up there, because that place is tight. I mean, the big bikes, I didn't ride this weekend, which I'm kind of glad because it was cold. I mean, they had the one garage door open and it was freezing in that building. But it was just, it was insane the amount of people that were on the track at one time.
Yeah, I mean, I'm trying to think where the last place I was. It was when we were still out in Midland, and what was that electric bike before the Stark and before the Alta? Everybody wasn't expecting anyone to grab one, and there was like 3 of them at practice one day. And the guy came up on my left as I was coming out of a right-hander. I never heard him and almost took the guy out and took myself out just because I didn't know he was there. And I thought, well, now that the Altas are kind of like few and far between since Harley, I guess, kind of ceased that operation. I don't think
I thought they
Altas.
went bankrupt.
So Harley had bought them, I think, in bankruptcy. I should have looked that up before we did this because I knew I wanted to touch on it. Have you seen the Stark Varg?
Oh, yeah.
Dude.
I'm getting one.
Did you put your $100 down and pre-order it?
Not yet.
I thought about it. I know. I think I saw a lot of guys on the internet were like, oh, yeah, I put my $100 down. I'm like, did you really? Or like, we'll never know until people start actually rolling out on them. But I think maybe quite a few people did just since it's $100. I mean,
right.
It's like if you get to that point and then you decide, no, I'm not going to buy one next fall, you're out $100. I'm sure people waste $100 on worse things. But
that's right.
So there's this other electric bike out of China. As much as I wouldn't want to buy something directly from China without maybe first seeing it, it's pretty convincing. It's called the Suron. I think it's the Super B.
Okay.
And I'll have to send you the link to it, and I'll drop the link in the show notes on YouTube, and everybody that listens to these knows where to find them. But I ran across it on Instagram because they had like an e-mountain bike, and now they have an actual full size. It's like the size of a 125, but it's silent and nobody can really tell you. Like, so if I wanted to go over here to I guess, the mountain bike trails and course on the side of this plan we live in, nobody could really be like, hey, you can't ride a dirt bike here because it's technically not a dirt bike.
Huh.
So I don't know. I got too many right now to worry with something electric just yet.
I'd like to see some electric for 2023 or 2024 Supercross.
Dude, that would be sick. I mean, and I got to listen. I just saw that Racer X had posted a video explaining why they support the electric movement. And I'm willing to bet that it has something to do with the fact that these kids like Mason, and then I'm sure Dare, once he gets to the point, whereas like you and I started out on gas bikes, they're going to start on electric. So that's what they're going to be used to.
Yeah. But no, that's in California. They passed that law, was it last year or something like that, where they're not allowed to sell anything gas anymore.
Yeah.
Small engine wise. That's going to, I hate to say it, but I think the electric is really going to take over there.
Well, it's like in every industry right now, like reducing carbon is the thing.
Right.
And we all know what that's driven by. And I think I might actually have it in my show notes that I won't go down those roads anymore on these because it just takes the show quality down. Because not with you and I, because we're obviously on the same page about most things, but
right.
Yeah, it's besides the point. But so it's going to snow there tomorrow, isn't it?
Tomorrow night, our first quote unquote snow, which kind of sucks. I was really looking forward to skiing this year. We've got nothing.
I know. I saw Seven Springs had fired up the snow guns again, and they were like, winter's back. And I guess it actually is arriving finally, but I don't think it ever really got started, did it?
No. I mean, they had, like at Hidden Valley, they had a couple slopes open there, but it was pretty pathetic. Like from the house, we had to walk. You have to walk down to the slopes. Like you cannot like ski on, ski off like it normally would be if they had all the snow there. So I'm hoping this, we've had some cold weather here the last couple of days. I'm hoping they'll at least get a good half of the mountain open so we can try and get some in. It'd be nice, but the weather is definitely not in their favor this year.
No, it's definitely not. It just seems to be the trend anymore. And even down here, it's like today was 77 degrees and it was like probably 80% humidity. It was hot to say the least. And as I'm wearing a sweatshirt because I have the air conditioning on upstairs because we're back working remote till the end of January. And so I'm just sequestered in this spot all day long and it just gets too hot after a while. But what's that?
I got the fireplaces going. It's freezing up here.
It's amazing what 1,200 miles will the difference in temperature. So on YouTube right now, Shay's brother, he commented on the sweater since this is his company, and I can't tell how many people are watching live. Cody says it's minus 50 there.
That's just dumb. Like, why?
Like,
tell me better. Hook me up. I want a sweater.
You want a sweater, Cody? I need some more sweaters. Anyway, we'll discuss that later. The reason I was mentioning the weather is so you guys are pretty much sequestered riding wise, whether it's Stacyc or big bikes to Switchback, right?
Switchback. You have that other place up in Cleveland, Ram Jam, but it's like 3.5 hours away, so it's definitely not a day trip type thing. There's a new facility being built out towards Zanesville, Ohio, but it's not going to be opened up till next year.
Right.
So we'll at least have two places within 2 hours come next winter. And if things, we have some things in the works right now here at home. Definitely not a big bike indoor track, but possibly a little bike indoor track. Something that we can do, we'll at least have for Stacyc, and we can run him at least all the way up to 80s on it. It is my plan. Right.
Dude, that'll be sick. And so is NEMX still a thing, or did that? I think they shut that down years ago.
They closed that years ago. I'm not sure whatever happened to it. The building's still there.
They had a sick outdoor track that I remember walking. I forget who was with me. It might have been Zach. Actually, I think it was Todd, to be 100% honest with you. And that it was like super crossy, but it was Ohio, or Northeast Ohio. So anything motocross wise would be so flat it would seem supercross like. But some of those hits were just gigantic, and I was like, And at the time,
that was what up in Andover, Ohio. Because I mean, I swear to God, every time we would go there, it would be snowing so hard, and it would be just miserable. And then you got there and you rode, and it's like, why did I do this? Every time.
Because do you remember wearing like a latex glove under your riding gloves to keep your hands warm?
Yes.
So back when Zach and his dad first took me, I can't remember. I think I was maybe on a 125 still. And we had the case of the latex gloves, and we had put the bikes. They had that 24-foot car hauler that they'd sequestered the back off and built it into like a makeshift toy hauler. And I think, if I remember correctly, we had put the bikes back there, and there was a man door that you had to bring the bikes through if you were going to bring them out the side door, which you would never do in a million years unless you forgot the keys. And we got all the way up there, and I remember just seeing Kurt trying to drag Zach's 250 out through that door, and he was so mad. And it was like they had burn barrels going in the parking lot trying to like melt the ice. It was so cold. The lengths we would go to ride in the Northeast.
It sucks.
We should have rode more. Hey, you know what I came across the other day that I hadn't thought about in a while? Do you remember Scenic Highlands?
Yeah.
So we rode there all together one time, I think, and I was on that old 450, so it must have been like 2009 or 10.
Yeah, because that was literally the very first race of the year.
Yep. And that track's been gone for how long? At least a decade.
At least since 9 or 10.
Because I think we raced Steel City, and then we rode at Scenic almost within a couple weeks of each other, and then both tracks, that was the last time I was at either one of them.
Yeah, Scenic, I love that track. That was one of my favorite tracks, and it really sucks. I mean, some of the best tracks that we had up here are gone.
Yep.
And it sucks.
Yeah, that's why, like, I came across a picture the other day of Carmichael and Racer X holding up a Save High Point sign. Do you remember when that whole scenario unfolded? And, like, thank God it's still there.
Well, you see they leveled off Pro Pits.
I know, they're expanding. This is going to be an epic year, and I've got to get more details on the next bike build that I've got coming up, because I don't know how many people are going to, well, we'll get into it right now because it's not really public knowledge, but it'll be good. Another 125 though. So
that'll be nice.
So this is your year, or the next couple years, to get a 125, and right?
Yeah, I need to get on that. That ball. Start rolling with that.
Just go and watch those Dakotas videos in the Durham video. You remember when those first came out in like 14, 15, 16?
Oh yeah.
You know they're up to like 4 and 5 million views now on YouTube.
Oh, Dorm's video up there at his track.
Yep.
That's just insane.
It's just, I watched it yesterday. I found the no music version, because, like, let's face it, if you're you and I, we don't want to hear music over a two-stroke. No. So, but I'll probably watch it like weekly now, and I've got an idea for the 125 that I've got, because you know how it's all coded and everything.
Yeah.
So I was reading that actually Vince Freezy's mechanic last year called me, and we were talking two strokes, and I showed him how I coded these frames, and he told me, if you ever decide to strip that coating off there, you'll be amazed at the difference between the two, because it makes this frame so much more rigid because it's aluminum. So I think that's going to be my next project for these two bikes that I have here is get all the coatings off of them somehow. I'm not breathing that crap in again, so I'll probably send them off. Right. After last year. No, thank you. Did have you seen any of the vapor hunting technology yet?
Yeah.
So I think
Dan Rabel.
that's right. Dan has that's his like sole business. Maybe I'll just.
He's still working full time as a nurse, I believe.
Oh, okay. So he's got it's his side business as well.
Yeah.
I'll have to hit him up, and maybe if I come up, I'll just bring parts and drop them off or something like that. But I'm trying to think what else. We covered most of it. When's the next Stacyc event?
Well, Switchback is this weekend. I don't know if we're going to go or not. Really nothing till spring. I'm trying to kind of get a direction on where we want to go. We might have something in the works for May with Monster Energy Supercross. I got an email about it yesterday, which I sent it to you. So so we're kind of collaborating there. We're going to see what all comes with it. But we might be making a plane trip out to the West Coast come May. So,
dude, that'll be sick. Actually, I think I owe my wife a trip to the West Coast.
That's right.
I'm pretty sure she could probably hear us because the sound up here funnels down the stairs like as if you were sitting in the kitchen. So we'll get her take on how corny we sound or not. But
I'd love to go. I just hate going to the West Coast because of the time difference. It sucks so much.
Well, Dad used to fly those trips from Charlotte to Seattle and everything. And I think, let's see, going out, you'd gain time.
Right.
Is that right? And then, it was the coming back that was always crappy. And so.
I mean, it's just like being in Vegas. You leave Vegas, it's a 4-hour flight with a 3-hour time difference. So a 4-hour flight for me takes literally all day.
Yeah, that's exactly right. And yeah, it goes without saying, Vegas. Yeah, that's something I'll text you about that later.
That could be like a whole week's worth right there.
That could be. I probably have to mark that podcast explicit, not for any bad behavior, but just general discussion. But hey, I heard that they maybe bring in Monster Energy Cup back because it was such a money maker.
Right.
So that would be cool. I was watching the last one we went to the other day, and I was just like, so sad everything that we've lost in the last couple of years.
Which one? The one we took the girls or the first one?
The one that we were out there with the wives when we did 2019 October.
Yeah.
So that was a good trip.
That was a good one. I liked the first one though. Whenever Frenchie won this game.
Forgot about that. Yeah, he did.
That was a good one.
I remember half of that stadium wasn't super stoked on that.
So they hated him so much out there.
What do you well, we have to do our fantasy podcast separate, so we won't get into that. But
okay.
Yeah, and I'm running out of time because it's almost time to eat dinner, but this actually went a whole lot better. Like I said, I still have no idea how to figure out who besides my brother-in-law is watching. I think it shows me here that running two separate computers is hard too. I don't know. Anyway, I'll have to dig more into the YouTube live thing, but yeah, things are fixing to kick off. On a side note, I'm going to race at Three Palms. They're doing a season opener on the GP track. Which,
that's nice.
Yeah, it's a track you would love. I think I have a helmet cam video from when I first brought the YZ250 out after I built it. And they call it the GP track because it's just a lot of big natural hits. Like nothing super technical. There is, when you first come off the start and you make a right-hander, there's some rollers that every time I'm out there, I can just see you in front of me just skying off of it into the sand, just like rah, rah, rah. But we'll see eventually. I know you'll eventually come down and ride something. But Are you going to hang on to the 250 or are you going to get a 450?
I don't know. I love my 250s. I haven't decided yet. I need to find. I don't know.
Come down and ride mine before I find a good way to get rid of it.
I'd like to come down. I really want to make a trip down to Club. That's definitely on my list of things to do this winter is go down there. We'll see. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing yet.
I got some people back home that they're a little bit younger than us, and I know that they want to ride more. And you should definitely link up with them because, one, I think they benefit a lot from riding with you because obviously I always have. And then they would probably be good people to go to Club with too. So I'll get you connected with them here at some point.
Yeah.
So,
hey, let's do it real quick for this weekend. Who are you thinking?
Oh, I can't bet against Barsha for numerous reasons, but I think Barsha's got it. But I also, when you think about Tomac's got all the stars kind of aligned, and a lot of people would probably disagree with me on that. So I'm thinking Barsha, Tomac, Ferrandis, somewhere. I don't know where I put Ferrandis. Maybe not third, but because he struggled in Supercross. Was he on Supercross for the 450?
No, he's not. He's definitely not a Supercross guy, I don't think.
Yeah, I mean, a lot of the European riders struggle with Supercross, like we saw at Paris, because it's just not something they do regularly.
Right.
But yeah, I don't know. I'm still a little bit. I don't know. What are your picks?
I got Barsha. He's got to come on 4 times in a row. I mean, I'd even go and bet on myself for them odds in Vegas. I mean, he's got to. He's got to. And I think, honestly, after looking at the track, I think it's laid out perfect for him.
Yeah. That's kind of what I looked at it today. And I was like, oh yeah, plus it's a right hand or it's a left hand start.
Left hand, yeah.
So you'll have they'll have their foot on the brake.
And he's always, I mean, he gets that start. He's going to come out strong. I think I don't think he's going to run away with it, but I have a feeling he's 4 in a row. He's my guy. Yep,
that's what I got. So I got him. I got Tomac in there somewhere because, I mean, I've watched a lot of stuff lately that is just flying. But I saw a video the other day that isn't like, it's not a secret video, it's on YouTube somewhere, but Mookie out at Baker's Factory was crushing the loops. I could not believe it.
Yeah, but I mean, come on, that's got to be genetic.
Yeah, it really does.
I mean, it's got to be.
I'm trying to think. But
I got Tomac out there. I don't know, second or third for Tomac. The thing that scares me is switching bikes. I mean, new bike, new team, obviously Star. They kind of got their shit together this year.
I would say so.
Team.
I would say so. I mean, they only have like 90 some riders with Star bikes running around. So. That's probably an exaggeration, but.
I know they go on, yeah. Tomac, Webb, not sure about Webb. He's all over the board for me. But I feel like Plessinger, I feel like this is going to be a big year for him.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing is the field is so stacked. So when you go to do a fantasy league, you're like Tomac, Stewart, Anderson, Barsha. It just goes on. And it's just like you have to sit there and like close your eyes and pull names out of a hat because there's like 15 people that could use. Plus, then you have like wild cards, which off the top of my head I can't really think of right now, but there's just so many of them. I'm going to sit down probably tomorrow night and go through and then I'm going to look at it again on Friday because I'm actually going to take fantasy seriously this year. Like I'm not going to just do it and then like a third of the way through the season be like, oh, I forgot.
Right.
So
I'm going to take it serious this year. I mean, it sucks because the top 10 guys could easily win the championship. It's so hard to pick.
Yep, I agree. Well, heck, we might have to do another episode this week because this was fun. I enjoy it. This has been like my favorite part of the week. Oh no, let me think about it. I'll text you in 5 minutes.
Yeah, let me know. I'll grab some more stuff, man. Write down some more notes and things like that.
Cool. All right, brother. Thanks, man.
Hey, no problem. We'll talk to you later.
All righty. And that concludes episode 3, season 2. Tell Yoest the camper is insane. I will do that, Cody. Talk to you soon. Well, if anybody else was online on YouTube, thanks for tuning in. We're going to get this place decorated and we'll get this a little more smooth, but I'd say 40 minutes for the first episode is pretty darn good. So stay tuned.